View of a pig. The pig lay on a barrow dead. It weighed, they said, as much as 3 men. Its eyes closed, pink-white eyelashes, its trotters stuck straight out. Such weight and thick pink bulk, set in death, seemed not just dead. It was less than lifeless, further off. It was like a sack of wheat. I thumped it without feeling remorse. One feels guilty insulting the dead, walking on graves. But this pig did not seem able to accuse. It was too dead. Just so much a poundage of lard and pork. Its last dignity had entirely gone. It was not a figure of fun. Too dead now to pity. To remember its life, din, stronghold of earthly pleasure as it had been, seemed a false effort, and off the point. Too deadly factual. Its weight oppressed me. How could it be moved? And the trouble of cutting it up. The gash in its throat was shocking, but not pathetic. Once I ran at a fair in the noise, to catch a greased piglet that was faster and nimbler than a cat. Its squeal was the rending of metal. Pigs must have hot blood. They feel like ovens. Their bite is worse than a horse's. They chop a half-moon clean out. They eat cinders, dead cats. Distinctions and admirations such as this one was long finished with. I stared at it a long time. They were going to scald it and scour it like a doorstep. Sunstroke. Frightening the blood in its tunnel, the mowing machine ate at the field of grass. My eyes had been glared dark. Through a red heat, the cradled guns, Damascus, blued, flared. At every stir, sliding their molten embers into my head. Sleekly, the clover bowed and flowed backward, over the saw-set, swimming blades, till the blades bit, roots, stones, ripped into red, some baby's body smoking among the stalks. Reek of paraffin oil and creosote, swabbing my lungs, doctored me back, laid on a sack in the great beamed engine shed. I drank at stone, at iron of plough and harrow. Dulled in a pit, heard thick walls of rain, and voices in swaddled confinement near me, warm as veins. I lay heeling under the ragged length of a dog fox that dangled head downward from one of the beams, with eyes open, forepaws strained at a leap, also surprised by the rain. Pike. Pike, 3 inches long, perfect pike in all parts, green tigering the gold. Killers from the egg, the malevolent aged grin. They dance on the surface among the flies, or move, stunned by their own grandeur, over a bed of emerald, silhouette of submarine delicacy and horror, 100 feet long in their world. In ponds, under the heat-struck lily pads, gloom of their stillness, logged on last year's black leaves, watching upwards, or hung in an amber cavern of weeds, the jaws hooked clamp and fangs, not to be changed at this date, the life subdued to its instrument, the gills kneading quietly, and the pectorals. 3 we kept behind glass, jungled in weed. 3 inches, 4, and 4.5. Fed fry to them. Suddenly there were 2. Finally 1, with a sag belly and the grin it was born with. And indeed they spare nobody. 2 6 pounds each, over 2 feet long, high and dry and dead in the willow herb. One jammed past its gills down the other's gullet. The outside eye stared as a vice locks, the same iron in this eye, though its film shrank in death. A pond I fished 50 yards across. whose lilies and muscular tench had outlasted every visible stone of the monastery that planted them, stilled legendary depth. It was as deep as England. It held pike too immense to stir, so immense and old that past nightfall I dared not cast, but silently cast and fished, with the hair frozen on my head, for what might move, for what I might move. The still splashes on the dark pond, owls hushing the floating woods, frail on my ear against the dream darkness beneath night's darkness had freed, that rose slowly towards me, watching. An otter. Underwater eyes, an eel's oil of water body, neither fish nor beast is the otter. Four-legged yet water-gifted to outfish fish, with webbed feet and long ruddering tail, and a round head like an old tomcat. Brings the legend of himself from before wars or burials, in spite of hounds and vermin poles, does not take root like the badger, wanders, cries, gallops along land he no longer belongs to, re-enters the water by melting. Of neither water nor land, seeking some world lost when first he dived, that he cannot come at since, takes his changed body into the holes of lakes, as if blind cleaves the stream's push till he licks the pebbles of the source, from sea to sea crosses in 3 nights like a king in hiding, crying to the old shape of the starlit land, over sunken farms where the bats go round without answer. Delight and birdsong come walloping up roads with the milk wagon. The hunt's lost him. Pads on mud, among sedges, nostrils a surface bead, the otter remains ours. The air, circling the globe, tainted and necessary, mingling tobacco smoke, hounds and parsley, comes carefully to the sunk lungs. So the self under the eye lies, attendant and withdrawn. The otter belongs in double robbery and concealment, from water that nourishes and drowns, and from land that gave him his length and the mouth of the hound. He keeps fat in the limpid integument reflections live on. The heart beats thick. Big trout muscle out of the dead cold. Blood is the belly of logic. He will lick the fish bone bare, and can take stolen hold on a bitch otter in a field full of nervous horses, but linger nowhere. Yanked above hounds, reverts to nothing at all, to this long pelt over the back of a chair. Hawk roosting. I sit in the top of the wood, my eyes closed. Inaction, no falsifying dream between my hooked head and hooked feet. Or in sleep rehearse perfect kills and eat. The convenience of the high trees, the air's buoyancy and the sun's ray are of advantage to me, and the earth's face upward for my inspection. My feet are locked upon the rough bark. It took the whole of creation to produce my foot, my each feather. Now I hold creation in my foot, or fly up and revolve it all slowly. I kill where I please because it is all mine. There is no sophistry in my body. My manners are tearing off heads, the allotment of death. For the one path of my flight is direct through the bones of the living. No arguments assert my right. The sun is behind me. Nothing has changed since I began. My eye has permitted no change. I am going to keep things like this. Ice crust and snowflake. A polished glancing, a blue frost-bright dawn. And the ox's hoof quagmire at the ice-cumbered trough has so far protected the primrose. And the wild mares in the moor hollow stand stupid with bliss among the first miraculous fall flowers. They are weeping for joy in a wind that blows through the flint of the ox's horn. The north wind brought you too late to the iron bar, rusted, sodden in the red soil. The salmon, weightless in the flag of depth, green as engine oil. A snowflake in April that touched, that registered, was felt. Solitary signal of a storm too late to get in. Past the iron bar's leaf, through the window of the salmon's egg, with its eager eye. Sheep. The sheep has stopped crying. All morning in her wire mesh compound on the lawn, she has been crying for her vanished lamb. Yesterday they came. Then her lamb could stand in a fashion and make some tiptoe, cringing steps. Now he has disappeared. He was only half the proper size, and his cry was wrong. It was not a dry little hard bleat, a baby cry over a flat tongue. It was human. It was a despairing, human, smooth, oh, like no lamb I ever heard. Its hind legs cowered in under its lumped spine. Its feeble hips leaned towards its shoulders for support. Its stubby white wool pyramid head on a tottery neck had sad and defeated eyes, pinched, pathetic, too small, and it cried all the time, oh, oh, staggering towards its alert, baffled, stamping, storming mother who feared our intentions. He was too weak to find her teats or to nuzzle up in under. He hadn't the gumption. He was fully occupied just standing, then shuffling towards where she'd removed to. She knew he wasn't right. She couldn't make him out. Then his rough curl legs, so stoutly built, and hooved with real quality tips, just got in the way, like a loose bundle of firewood he was cursed to manage, too heavy for him, lending sometimes some support, but no strength, no real help. When we sat his mother on her tail, he mouthed her teeth, slobbered a little, but after a minute lost aim and interest. His muzzle wandered. He was managing a difficulty much more urgent and important. By evening he could not stand. It was not that he could not thrive. He was born with everything but the will. That can be deformed, just like a limb. Death was more interesting to him. Life could not get his attention. So he died, with the yellow birth mucus still in his cardigan. He did not survive a warm summer night. Now his mother has started crying again. The wind is oceanic in the elms, and the blossom is all set. His legs ran about till they tangled and seemed to trip and lie down with her legs, intending to hold them there forever. His arms lifted things, groped in dark rooms, at last with their hands caught her arms, and lay down in woven at last. Mouth talked its way in and out, and finally found her mouth and settled deeper. his chest pushed until it came up against her breast at the end of everything, his navel fitted over her navel as closely as possible, like a mirror face down flat on a mirror. And so in every part, like a bull pushing towards its cows not to be stayed, like a calf seeking its mama, like a desert staggerer among his hallucinations, seeking the hoof-churned hole, finally got what it needed and grew still and closed its eyes. Then such greatness and truth descended as over a new grave, when the mourners have gone and the stars come out, and the earth, bristling and raw, tiny and lost, resumes its search, rushing through the vast astonishment. Fragments from Lum's Remains. What will you make of half a man, half a face, a ripped edge? His one-eyed waking is the shorn sleep of aftermath. His vigour, the bone deformity of consequences. His talents, the deprivations of escape. How will you revive the veteran of negatives and the survivor of cease? The sea grieves all night long. The wall is past groaning. The field has given up. It can't care any more. Even the tree waits like an old man who has seen his whole family murdered. Horrible world, where I let in again, as if for the first time, the untouched joy. A primrose petal's edge cuts the vision like laser, and the eye of a hare strips the interrogator naked of all but some skin of terror, a starry frost. Who is this? She reveals herself and is veiled. Somebody, something grips by the nape and bangs the brow as against a wall, against the untouchable veils of the hole which is bottomless, till blood drips from the mouth. Once I said lightly, even if the worst happens, we can't fall off the earth. And again I said, no matter what fire cooks us, we shall be still in the pan together. And words twice as stupid. Truly hell heard me. She fell into the earth, and I was devoured. Collision with the earth has finally come. How far can I fall? A kelp, adrift in my feeding substance. A mountain rooted in stone of heaven. A sea full of moon ghost with mangling waters. Dust on my head, helpless to fit the pieces of water. A needle of many norths. Ark of blood, which is the magic baggage old men open and find useless at the great moment of need. Error on error, perfumed with a ribbon of fury. When the still soft eyelid sank again over the stair, still bright as if alive, the chiseled threshold, without a murmur, ground the soul's kernel, till blood welled. And your granite, anointed, woke, stirred. The dead man lies, marching here and there in the battle for life, without moving. He prays he will escape for what comes after, at least that he'll escape, so he lies still. But it arrives, invisible as a bullet, and the dead man flings up his arms with a cry incomprehensible in every language, and from that moment he never stops trying to dance, trying to sing, and maybe he dances and sings because you kissed him. If you miss him, he stays dead among the inescapable facts. This is the man-eater's skull. These brows were the Arc de Triomphe to the gullet, the death adder of appetite coiled under. It spied through these nacelles, ignorant of death. And the whole assemblage flowed, hungering, through the long ways. Its cry quieted the valleys. It was looking for me. I was looking for you. You were looking for me. Every day the world gets simply bigger and bigger, and smaller and smaller. Every day the world gets more and more beautiful, and uglier and uglier. Your comings get closer, your goings get worse. Waving goodbye from your banked hospital bed, waving, weeping, smiling, flushed, it happened you knocked the world off like a flower vase. It was the third time, and it smashed. I turned, I bowed in the morgue, I kissed your temples, refrigerated, glazed as rained-on graveyard marble. My lips queasy, heart non-existent, and straightened into sun darkness, like a pillar over Athens, defunct in the glaring metropolis of cameras. A bang, a burning. I opened my eyes in a veil crumbling with echoes. A solitary dove cries in a tree. I cannot bear it. From this center it wearies the compass. Am I killed, or am I searching? Is this the rainbow silking my body? Which wings are these? Calves harshly parted from their mammas stumble through all the hedges in the country, hither, thither, crying day and night, till their throats will only grunt and whistle. After some days, a stupor sadness collects them again in their field. They will never stray any more. From now on, they only want each other. So much for calves. As for the tiger, he lies still, like left luggage. He is roaming the earth, light, unseen. He is safe. Heaven and hell have both adopted him. Bride and groom lie hidden for 3 days. She gives him his eyes. She found them among some rubble, among some beetles. He gives her her skin. He just seemed to pull it down out of the air and lay it over her. She weeps with fearfulness and astonishment. She has found his hands for him and fitted them freshly at the wrists. They are amazed at themselves. They go feeling all over her. He has assembled her spine. He cleaned each piece carefully and sets them in perfect order, a superhuman puzzle, but he is inspired. She leans back, twisting this way and that, using it and laughing incredulously. Now she has brought his feet, she is connecting them so that his whole body lights up, and he has fashioned her new hips, with all fittings complete, and with newly wound coils, all shiningly oiled. He is polishing every part, He himself can hardly believe it. They keep taking each other to the sun. They find they can easily, to test each new thing at each new step. And now she smooths over him the plates of his skull, so that the joints are invisible. And now he connects her throat, her breasts, and the pit of her stomach with a single wire. She gives him his teeth, tying their roots to the center pin of his body. He sets the little circlets on her fingertips. She stitches his body here and there with steely purple silk. He oils the delicate cogs of her mouth. She inlays with deep-cut scrolls the nape of his neck. He sinks into place the inside of her thighs. So, with sighs of joy and gasps of wonderment, like two gods of mud sprawling in the dirt, but with infinite care, they bring each other to perfection.